time, citing his blossoming police career. But he does remain part-time and he still gets to officiate in these big games. Good Friday 2025, it will be the boot of Louis Jouffre to get proceedings underway. The Halifax Panthers and the Bradford Bulls renew their rivalry in this Good Friday Derby Day showdown at the Shea, a fixture that has clearly been ringed on the calendar by supporters for months. The anticipation of these two rugby league rivals meeting in this showdown has been immense. Potentially a record crowd in attendance for this one. Strap yourselves in, you're in good company. West Yorkshire Radio, syndicated coverage, Bulls TV. Bradford with first use of the ball, and they find themselves 15 metres shy of halfway centre field. Suter now to Keys. Keys will kick early on tackle 4. Goes downtown to Saltonstall, one of 4 former Bradford players in this Halifax side, and Saltonstall will return the ball 10 metres shy of halfway on tackle number 1. Donaldson and Skur in defence for the Bradford Bulls. Out of dummy half here from Adam O'Brien. He's been pushed back behind the advantage line as Wonga Blake comes racing out of that defensive line with Eben Skur and Mitch Suter. Third tackle gone for the Panthers. They're on halfway here, driving it forward with Jacob Fairbank, very, very famous rugby league playing uncle in Carl, a Bradford Northern legend. Brandon Douglas, new lease of life in 2025 for the former Castleford and Doncaster prop. Plays the ball on the last. There's far too much on that kick. That will go dead in goal from Woodburn Hall, and that will be a crucial for an extra tackle set. 6 tackles from Bradford's 20-metre line. As you can tell in the background, the atmosphere here, absolutely electric. As we know, 2 dominant teams with a lot of quality players to influence proceedings and write those amazing rugby league storylines this afternoon. So Bradford playing the ball with Fulton, 20 shy of halfway. Suter, sloppy pass along the floor, and Eben Skur's come up with the error there. So they've just lacked a little bit of composure really from Bradford. Suter, a no-look pass out of the ruck. It's gone lateral 20 metres from right of centre field across centre field, and Eben Skur had to stoop down low to pick that one up, but under the defensive line speed and pressure from those back rowers of Halifax Panthers, Eben Skur has come up with Bradford's first error, and that's put the Bulls under pressure because Halifax, they will have the first opportunity of this game this afternoon. 2.5 gone on the clock. Halifax Panthers 0, Bradford Bulls 0. West Yorkshire Radio, syndicated coverage on Bulls TV. We could be in for a very, very drama-filled afternoon as we see Inman linked with Woodburn Hall to Jouffre. Jouffre's overcooked the pass, but it's going to be recovered here by Saltonstall. Scott Michalauskas, the referee this afternoon, allowing play to continue. There is 6 or 7 red, amber and black balloons on the field in the in-goal area and around where Halifax are attacking. Matt just here, Ronan Michael popping a few on the sideline, but here goes Brandon Douglas down the middle, 5 metres out. Halifax on the last tackle. Can they breach Bradford's line on their first real attacking set? They're going to go close with Ben Crooks, because Ben Crooks and Charlie Graham, they were putting that pressure on there. But it is going to be Guy Armitage at the back to kick the ball dead. Goal line dropout forced by Halifax, and the 2,000 plus Bradford fans behind the posts in the north stand here at the Shea this afternoon, showing their appreciation for the awareness there of Guy Armitage to stiff out that danger. So Bradford forced to concede that error, and goal line dropout. It will be consecutive sets of 6 here for Halifax right at the start of this game. As we say, Halifax top of the table, played 6-12 points. Bradford 6th, played 5-6 points. Big game this one. Douglas plays the ball on the Bradford 30. Cook Island international Adam Tangata is wrapped up 20 metres out. Tackle 2. O'Brien out of dummy half, goes on that left hand side here with Jouffre to the captain of the Halifax Panthers, Ben Crooks. 4 tries this term. He's 5 away on tackle number 4. O'Brien tries to pinch one against his former club. He's going to be held up in goal Halifax will have to play the ball just shy of the try line. They'll say the tackle was completed just short, so it's another last tackle option here with Woodburn Hall finding Inman. Inman taking the line on. Inman can't get past Luke Cooley, Mitch Shooter. And Mitch Shooter, well, you talk about redemption. He come up with the error for Eben Sker. He's just helped Bradford and Luke Cooley to stop Tom Inman, the former York man, from pirouetting and trying to barge his way over the line. Good defence from the Bulls early doors here. We've had 5 minutes gone on the clock. It's Halifax 0, Bradford 0. Suter out a dummy half to G. First penalty of the afternoon. Halifax guilty of just straying outside that imaginary box and not being square. And it is going to be Jacob Fairbank, the 34-year-old former Huddersfield, London, Wakefield forward, who's penalised for the first penalty of the afternoon. Hooley will take Bradford 10 shy of halfway. Bailey Liu, only his third start of the season under Brian Noble. He's had to be very, very patient for this one. He'll get to his feet, he'll play the ball, tackle one, it'll be Lawrence tackle two. Up and over halfway with Donaldson in a centre field position. The heavens have just started to open here, so there's a little bit of light drizzle as Michael Lawrence, another strong carry here by the 35-year-old. And Bradford all of a sudden find themselves 25 out from the Halifax line as Keys and Meadows link. Along the line it goes to Fulton. Tangata takes Meadow out off the ball. Here, Pearsfield penalty. Non-forthcoming. They're on tackle 4 here, Bradford. Inside the 20 with Sker. Eben Sker, 15 out. Gets the quick play, the ball in. This will be the last tackle here. 6 minutes gone on the clock. Is this the moment Bradford get the opening points? Keys, crossfield kick. Looks for Bailey Liu. Bailey Liu palms the ball back to Michael Lawrence. It's picked up by Suter. Suter's under the post, tried disallowed. They are going to say it has been knocked forward by Bailey Liu. It was on the last tackle, and the score remains Halifax 0, Bradford 0. So 2 early chances. You've just seen Tom Inman nearly breach Bradford's line on the power play, and then you've very, very nearly seen Bailey Liu palm that ball backwards, and a chance for Mitch Suter to open the scoring, which would have been underneath the Halifax post at the south stand end of this stadium here in Halifax. So 7 gone on the clock, 0-0, as we see Brandon Douglas, the former Castleford Doncaster man, just trying to swat away Mitch Suter there, and Eben Sker. O'Brien in at dummy half. Fairbank now to Woodburn Hall. Tangata over on that left-hand edge. Third time he's appeared in the blue and white hoops of Halifax, and the 5 inside the Bradford half of the field on the 5th and last tackle. Crooks will get to his feet, he'll play the ball. Goes back to Jules Frey. High hanging weighted kick. Hooley takes that one. Immediately wrapped up there by Ben Tibbs. Bradford back in possession, 5 out from their own try line as Guy Armitage is felled, and that's what Kyle Eastman was talking about pre-match, about that quick defensive line speed. Bradford in a real mess here. 3 tackles gone, 5 out from their own line with Wonga Blake playing the ball. Suter, big collision from Adam Tangata. He's just got into the chest plate there of Mitch Suter. 4th tackle gone, and they're still 10 out from their own try line. Bradford now move the ball with Bailey Liu, and they're out of the 20. They're on the last tackle. 25 shy of halfway after Bailey Liu's just made 15 metres. They're going to run it on the power play here. Lawrence has broken clear, finds Suter. Referee says knock on. Well, that ball from Donaldson, it's gone marginally forward at best. Bradford supporters booing and jeering. Well, Lawrence was away there, and it was the power play, it was the last tackle. Not seeing that composed Bradford just yet. A little bit scatterbrained there on that play, coming up with what is their second error whilst in possession. So they've put themselves under a little bit of pressure there, but it was a great run from Bailey Liu after Halifax had put Bradford under a lot of pressure early in that set. Brandon Douglas rolled over, 20 away in front of the post. Just over 8 minutes gone on the clock here as we see Jules Frey gives the ball there towards Graham. Graham on his return to action. The former Hull Keighley man rolled over 2 metres out from the Bradford line. Jouffre's in there at acting half. Back to the 10 with Woodburn Hall. Along the line to Douglas. Douglas fronts up. Takes Donaldson, Skur and Fulton to bring down the big Halifax forward. The space on that left-hand edge. Tangata wrapped up there. Last tackle. The 2 metres out from that Bradford line of the Panthers. They're going to try and score here with O'Brien. Ball's been kicked into the in-goal area, and the referee's going to stop the clock here because Ben Crooks is claiming a try. Ben Crooks is claiming a try here, but surely there was a knock-on by Adam O'Brien first. Well, Scott Michalauskas is getting some feedback and a report here from the touch judge, and it's a penalty to Halifax, no try, and the penalty's been awarded. Well, we've not seen why the penalty's been awarded. It's been awarded for an impediment on Ben Crooks on that kick through from Adam O'Brien. Clock is still stopped here, so a penalty apiece. 10 gone on the clock. Halifax take 2 points. Smart move by Kyle Eastman. Shows a lot of respect to Bradford and Bradford's early defensive efforts. Well, we can tell you there's games taking place this afternoon between Doncaster, Sheffield, Widnes, Oldham, Barrow, London. And this will be a chance here for Lewis Jouffre to get Halifax Panthers up and running this afternoon. So we're in the 10th minute here at the Share. Sometimes you look at the players' reaction and you're kind of thinking there were very lukewarm appeals that Ben Crooks had grounded the ball. Referee Scott Michalauskas stopped the clock. He spoke to the touch judge on that far stand side, who had stood his ground on the try line, which indicates there was something amiss. So the kick predictor turned on for the first time this afternoon. Lewis Jouffre got a bit of a swirling wind and a bit of driving rain to contend with in the inclement Good Friday conditions here. But the kick predictor saying 68%. It's 20 metres to the left-hand side of the post, 20 metres out. He was 7 from 9 last Friday as Halifax beat Hunslet by 46 points to 12, and he's continued his good start to the season with the kicking tee for Halifax, who lead Bradford 2-0. 10 gone on the clock. West Yorkshire Radio, Bulls TV. First blood to Halifax in this bruising, fierce West Yorkshire derby at the Share. So Bradford will get proceedings back underway. Well, sometimes in those cup games you talk about the importance of a penalty being worth more. You almost think in these derby games, heated rivals, it's equally the same. Saltonstall deals with the restart from Hoole. He turns around, finds Douglas, tackle one. Douglas wrapped up there by Suter and Donaldson, and now it's a quick penalty. Back-to-back penalties to Halifax because Eben Skur and Mitch Suter have been penalised for not being square. So that's now the second time in the opening 10 minutes that Scott Michalauskas, this afternoon's referee, has looked to put a bit of focus on those A and B markers. So I'm sure Brian Noble, Lee Greenwood will be getting the message on the field that that's where the former Super League referee is looking. Halifax fine touch, 10 inside the Bradford half, and it's tackle number 1 here with Ben Crooks. Quick play the ball from O'Brien, finds Fairbank wrapped up by Fulton and Skur, just outside Bradford's 20-metre line on tackle 2. Moving on that left-hand side here with Woodburn Hall to Jouffre, back to Crooks, and Crooks is going to be wrapped up, although he's heading towards touch here, and the referee has not call held, and once Wonga Blake, once they had that momentum of Jaden Ockingbo, there was nothing Ben Crooks could do. He was barrelled over the touchline. Halifax's first real error here in open play, and you can see what it means to the 2,000 plus Bradford supporters behind the post. Halifax 2, Bradford 0. Well, the question on everybody's lips this afternoon was, can Bradford be the first club to inflict that first defeat of the season on the Halifax Panthers? Brian Noble knows his Bradford side will have to compete hard. They're going to have to be dominant and in control of field position from their hard work through the forwards. The opening 12 minutes, it's all been Halifax. Suter, out of dummy half, Lawrence now. To G, the former Halifax man. Caught there by Zach McComb, I think it was. Bradford-born Zach McComb, fired out of that defensive line. 3 errors now from the Bulls. And you've got to say, with 13 minutes approaching on the clock, Bradford firmly played into Halifax's hands here right at the start of this game. And the Halifax supporters, they can sense and smell blood in the water here. It's been a very, very similar flat start to what Bradford experienced in that last game against Sheffield. Second half, they will play towards their travelling support, but Halifax now gifted an opportunity after that error from Matt G, as Tangata is wrapped up 5 away from the Bradford line. O'Brien started his career at the Bulls, finds Fairbank to Douglas. Flat pass there from Fairbank to Douglas, deemed okay by the officials. 2 away from the line. Inman now shifts it to Jouffre. There's a chance here for Graham. He's felled by Suter and Donaldson. Good defence here from the Bulls. Jouffre tries to pinch one out of dummy half, goes back to the 10, finds Inman. Inman in turn gives it to the Australian Owen McCarron, and he is wrapped up on what is now the last tackle. 5 away from the line, shift play, short side, Inman, recovered possession here, James Meadows, body on the line, good stuff there from the former London man. It remains Halifax 2, Bradford 0. Well, it's just as intense, it's just as physical as we tipped this one how it would be. Now it's a penalty to Bradford because Adam Tangata has been penalised for struggling to get back the 10. 2 penalties apiece, and Hooley will drill this one just shy of halfway. Already Jordan Lilly, Aribidoro warming up. Perhaps Brian Noble might be just thinking to bring on some early changes and some energy. Bradford on halfway tackle 1, fresh set of 6. Fulton plays the ball after a big strong carry. They're going to go right short side with Lawrence. Tackle 2, 10 inside the Halifax half. Just over 16 gone on the clock, and Bradford have not had any possession whatsoever on this Halifax line, as Joe Keys has been taken out here by Jacob Fairbank. Jacob Fairbank's gone straight in to Joe Keys there with a shoulder, and Scott Michalauskas is going to separate the players here, perhaps give himself a little bit of thinking time. It is a penalty, dead set centre, right in front of the post. Luke Cooley is already looking at the post, looking towards Keith Senior and Lee Greenwood, and I think with this one as tight and tense as it is, you might just see Luke Cooley think about going for 2 points here. Scott Michalauskas taking the report of the touch judge. They're going to be down to 12 men. Is calling Jacob Fairbank out. The 34-year-old former Bradford man has been spoken to by Scott Michalauskas. He might just get the head teacher's warning. For mine, it meets the threshold of being reckless and dangerous. Yeah, down to 10 men. Well, he can have no complaints there, Jacob Fairbank, because he went straight for Joe Keys, his former teammate. It was malicious, and a penalty to Bradford in front of the post. Well, last time out between these two sides, all hell broke out, and there were a number of players sent to the sin bin. That's the first one. So Jacob Fairbank goes for 10. Bradford don't go for 2. They're going to go for 4 or 6. 18 gone on the clock here. Lawrence plays the ball. 10 out from the line, tackle 1. Hooley takes the Halifax line on. The South Stand now, they have to see this Bradford pressure on their line. Hooley gets to his feet, plays the ball. It's going to be Suter, centre field now to Keys, to Lawrence. Bradford have a 3-on-2, but Meadows steps back on the inside. They've still got a 3-on-2 on that right-hand edge, but they're going to go down the middle here with Eben Skur, who's 8 metres out. Bradford 2 tackles remaining. They're down by 2 after that Lewis Jouffre penalty. Manny G against his former club, rolled over, 2 metres out from the line. That's the fifth and last. Back to the 10 with Keys. Crossfield kick. Looking for Wonga Blake. And Blake will get there. Blake, can he get the ball down? Halifax scrambling. Swarming defence. They stop the Fijian international, who's gone exceptionally close from breaching the Panthers line. No try is ruled, and that was great defence from Ben Crooks, Louis Jouffre and James Saltonstall. They all came in, realised that the threat was with Wonga Blake, who leapt as high could be, and now Halifax, despite that 2-0 lead, they're down to 12. They're just struggling a little bit in that forward momentum department here. The 20 out from their own try line, one of those sets of 6 where they alleviate the burden on the forwards and they let the wingers and the centres take centre stage. O'Brien out of dummy half. Tackle 4 to Douglas, who's drilled backwards there. And this will be the last. 10 shy of halfway here. Halifax 2, Bradford 0. Jouffre down into the Bradford 10. Jaden Ockimbo, the former Canterbury Bulldog man, wrapped up on his own 20-metre line. I wonder if he was watching the game between the Bulldogs and the Rabbitohs this morning. A new NRL regular season attendance of 65,000. We're in a core stadium. Feels like there's 65,000 here with the noise and the atmosphere. 19 minutes gone on the clock. Michael Lawrence along the line to Keys, just shy of halfway as Joe Keys is wrapped up. Good defence though from McCarron, who raced out of that defensive line. They're going to go on that short side with Donaldson, who steps back on the inside and runs lateral, finds space, sends Matty G on a 10-15 metre charge into the Halifax half, and that'll be the last for the Bulls. Keys calls for it, Keys gets it, boots a ball, sends it downtown. Hooley's chasing this one, looking to put pressure on Louis Jouffre, and Jouffre did exceptionally well there, as we see Will Calcott come on the field here. So the first interchange of the afternoon will see Will Calcott as Brandon Douglas leaves the field, just shy of the 20-minute mark. And it's a real humdinger, this one, and already you know points are going to be at a premium this afternoon. It is West Yorkshire Radio, syndicated coverage on Bulls TV this afternoon as Adam Tangata carries Halifax up to halfway. They're on the fifth and last tackle, 5 in from touch. Goes back there to Woodburn Hall, the Jamaican international, high hanging kick, targets Hooley. Hooley's brought down on his own 10-metre line, up to the 15, makes it just outside the Bradford 20. And if you are just joining us, tight as a drum here, just a penalty from Louis Jouffre, the difference. Halifax 2, Bradford 0. Here goes Meadows. Couldn't get past Charlie Graham. He had Bailey Lou on the outside. He'll play the ball 15 shy of halfway. Jean at dummy half. Now to Armitage, the former Toulouse man, and he's 8 shy of halfway on tackle number 4. Eben Skir leads the field for Aribi Doro, and here goes Aribi Doro. Well, that is just like leaving the gas on and then throwing a match on the naked flame as Keys kicks on the last into space. Tibbs has to turn around. Keys knows this playing surface, but he's just put a little bit too much on the power bear. Joe Keys could have been a repeat set of 6 by Bradford, but Tibbs, who had to track back following that kick on the last from Joe Keys, he just watched that one agonising for Bradford, for Brian Noble and the Bulls go over the dead ball line. That gives the Panthers an extra tackle here, but it is still Halifax 2, Bradford 0. We've had just over 20 minutes gone in this one. As we've said, the whole town of Halifax has ground to a halt this afternoon, and the ground pulsating with that energy of this big crowd in attendance. So Doro on for Skir. Doro's in defence here with Mitch Shooter, stopping that Halifax attacking threat from Will Calcott. They're going to come down the middle, and the 5 inside the Bradford half of the field as Owen McCarron gets to his feet. Woodburn Hall to Tangata. Last tackle here. Tangata plays it 40 away from the line. Woodburn Hall goes to Hooley once again. Hooley wrapped up 8 away from his own try line. It remains Halifax Panthers 2, Bradford Bulls 0, as Bradford now move the ball outside their own 10 on tackle 2 with Jaden Ockimbo. 4 tries this season from Jaden Okinbaugh. Here's Guy Armitage in centre field, up to the 20. Bradford have 2 tackles left on this set. Ronan Michael just come on for Michael Lawrence, and he's made some big meters there, just shy of 10 on what is tackle 4. Bradford will kick early on tackle 4. Hooley skewed it out on the full. Bradford's 4th mistake in this first half. That really does play into Halifax hands, because Halifax now will have a fresh set of 6 on Bradford's 30-metre line. Well, wins over Sheffield, Barrow, York, Featherstone, Batley and Hunslet have given new head coach Kyle Eastman the perfect start in the Panthers hot seat. Not many would have been brave enough to predict that situation today. Bradford arriving at the Shea with that momentum behind them after those 2 wins, back-to-back wins over Featherstone and Sheffield. They're having to do some defence here. Halifax 25 out from the Bradford try line. 24 minutes gone on the clock as O'Brien now, Woodburn Hall, Tangata on Bradford's 10-metre line. 10 in from that left-hand side. Halifax playing towards the Bradford supporters in this first half as Calcott charges through, and he's brought down on tackle 4. There's 1 left for Bradford to defend as Inman finds Jouffre. Saltonstall steps back on the inside. He's going to be brought down on the last. The 5 away. It's Jouffre to Inman. Grubber kick off the left boot. That one will be forced dead at the 11th hour there by Joe Keys, because it was Inman who was chasing up that lovely left-footed Grubber kick along the floor into the in-goal area, and that will force Bradford to concede their second goal line dropout of the afternoon. Well, this almost has that intensity, that physicality of Origin, points at a premium. It's one of those, who's going to blink first? Because that could decide the game as Calcott meets Fulton and Keys head on. Keys, of course, an ever-present for Halifax last season. 29 appearances, 15 tries for the Panthers. And Brian Noble about to bring on Jordan Lilly and Franklin Pele, because Bradford, they've been starved of possession in this first half. As Woodburn Hall takes the Bradford line on, and Woodburn Hall held up on his back. We go back to the 10. Panthers reset, reload. They were half expecting it, Bradford, there to go out on that left edge towards Crooks and Tibbs. But the Jamaican international, London-born Woodburn Hall, plays the ball 10 out from the Bradford line. The pressure building, bubbling nicely here as Doro, Suter, Hooley wrap up the Halifax back rower, and what is now the 5th and last. They go back to the 10. Woodburn Hall, too much on that one. Tap on the 20 for the Bradford Bulls. Franklin Pele comes on for James Donaldson. Jordan Lilly, the man of the moment, the man with the magic Midas touch against Sheffield. His second man of the match of the season. He comes on for Mitch Suter. So 14 minutes to go to half-time here at the Shea as Crooks goes hell for leather on Wonga Blake on tackle 2. 15 shy of halfway. Back down the middle centre field with Jaden Okinbaugh striding forward. 3 defenders grapple and bring him down. Just shy of halfway, but over halfway here with Aribi Doro. As we said, 24 appearances for the Bulls last season. He's back on this initial 2-week loan. And here's Pele now. And Pele's made 15. Bradford just about to knock on that Halifax door as Lilly goes out a dummy half. They're on the last tackle, 20 away. It's still Halifax 2, Bradford 0. Keys crossfield kick. Looks for Okinbaugh. Okinbaugh back to Blake. But the pass from Okinbaugh. Well, Bradford, if they had have caught the ball and gone into the corner, it would have counted anyway, because Jaden Okinbaugh penalised by Scott Michalauskas for being offside, saying that he wasn't passive, he was active. And that's a relieving penalty for Halifax, because it will advance the Panthers up the field. They're still without Jacob Fairbank, who will be coming on in 60 seconds' time. So Bradford not able to capitalise on that late challenge from Jacob Fairbank on Joe Keys. So Halifax 5 inside the Bradford half of the field. O'Brien to Inman. Woodburn Hall goes behind O'Brien, told to take the tackle by the referee. And it will be Ronan Michael, Jordan Lillett, the A and B marker defenders there, as Fairbank's just come out of the sin bin and he's gone straight into Franklin Pellet. And he'll play the ball directly in front of the Bradford post, 35 away, with a tackle remaining after this, as Aribi Doro and Fulton bring down Connor Davis. Left to centre field. On the last, they go back to Louis Jouffre, who looks towards Crooks. Hooley takes that one. Perfect time tackle from Ben Crooks there, the former Hulkester Rovers man. He had to time that tackle on Luke Hooley to perfection. It's still Halifax 2, Bradford 0 here. Not seen a try yet, but the defence of both sides counteracting that fierce, ferocious direct attack. Meadows, Keys to Hooley, to Lou. Bailey Lou, the former Sheffield man, 10 shy of halfway. Bradford just starting to exploit some fatigue and tiredness in this Halifax defence, you feel, as Ronan Michael carries and crashes onto a short ball out of Lily's run from dummy half. They are up to halfway on the last. Keys slices the kick somewhat on that right hand side. Easy take for Jouffre. He goes past Pele, can't get past his former teammate Matty G, who had 3 seasons at the Shea. Of course, leading into that Sheffield game last time out for Bradford, we spoke to Matty G. Did lift the 1895 Cup when Halifax beat Batley at Wembley. As Aribi Doro has just gone charging out. He slipped on the lush playing surface, gets back to his feet. He was looking to bring down Jacob Fairbank. Probably good that he missed there, because that would have been some collision. Halifax 15 inside the Bradford half here. 2 tackles to go on this set, as Fairbank felled by Michael and Doro. They're on the Bradford 30-metre line, centre field. 30 minutes gone in this one, as Halifax boots a ball into space. It's unorthodox. Inman chasing this one. Jouffre gathers. Jouffre will score, and that has just come out of the blue here. Halifax playing open space in front of them. It was the kick from Zach McComb. It was on the inside. Inman then kicked into the in-goal area. Bradford's defence crumbled. It evaporated. And Halifax, fresh, back to their full complement of 13 players in the 30th minute here. They have further extended their lead. And it is a try to Louis Jouffre, the 29-year-old, the French international. His 4th season at the Shea, after spells with Toulouse, Whitehaven and Batley. And on his 9th appearance of the season, will Louis Jouffre score a more important try this season? Well, I guess the key message from Brian Noble here is Bradford have been here before, against Sheffield, when they trailed by 8 points to 0. Heading towards half-time, the kick predictor already at 100%, because Jouffre touched that one down underneath the post. And he will convert from in front. And Halifax Panthers, with 8 minutes to go to half-time here at the Shea, they lead the Bradford Bulls by 8 points to 0. Louis Jouffre with all the points in this first half, and now Bradford will have to show a response. West Yorkshire Radio syndicated coverage with Bulls TV. We'll keep you up to date with all the latest scores elsewhere at half-time, but Luke Hooley gets us back underway. We've got 8 to go to half-time. Bradford just not really had much field position. We've not seen that dominant display. We've not seen them be in control of that field position. There's been a lot of effort, a lot of hard work, but I'm sure Brian Noble will be getting the message on games against Halifax. Are always tight affairs here. And most of all, importantly, he knows And the Bradford players must surely know they're going to have to keep going for the full 80 minutes this afternoon. So Halifax 8, Bradford 0, a freakish score from Halifax, well crafted by McCombs. Grubber on the inside on his 100th career appearance. And on the restart here, we're back to the action. Halifax on the last, just outside their own 20-metre line. So a good defensive response here as Jouffre kicks into the Bradford 20. Hooley takes it from his own 10-metre line. And Hooley wrapped up there and felled by Graham and McComb. And Hooley, he's caught a stray arm here by Zach McComb, and he's gone down. This might be a penalty to Bradford. There is contact with the head. Scott Michalauskas is coming over towards the touch judge, and it will be a penalty to Bradford, I feel. Or is he just going to give Zach McComb the benefit of the doubt here? Clock is stopped. Well, no love lost between these two sides. We always knew this showdown at the Shea was going to be immense, and that's exactly what it has been. Well, it is a penalty to the Bradford Bulls. Zach McComb called out. He will remain on the field. Luke Hooley might have to leave the field for a HIA. And this is a chance now for Bradford to kick from deep. Well, he's been given the all clear. He's a little bit groggy, a little bit gingerly, but he gets up to his feet, does Luke Hooley, the 26-year-old, Castleford Tigers loanee. And what a season he's having at the Bradford Bulls. 5th appearance of the season. You almost feel he's forming or starting to form that potent, fluid spine with Keys and Meadows in the halves. So Bradford now with Meadows 10 shy of halfway, 6 to go to half time. Fulton just shy of the halfway line, right to centre field. They're going to come back down the middle here with Franklin Pelly, who runs straight towards McComb. Pelly's offloaded the ball behind him, picked up by Meadows. Now it goes wide towards Bailey Lou. Bailey Lou wrapped up there by Fairbank and Graham. I think that's tackle 4 on this set. The 30 out. Centre field. It was tackle 4 because this is the last. 25 away from the Halifax line. Lilly to Keys. They will target Saltonstall on this main stand side, and he's done well under the high ball there, James Saltonstall, and he'll get a quick play the ball in. And now Doro and Michael doing their best to stop Charlie Graham's momentum and go forward. 3 tackles in, Halifax 10 away from their own line. Good defensive line speed, good defensive pressure here from the red-shirted Bradford Bulls this afternoon. Halifax supporters getting frustrated with their side's lack of momentum and go forward, but it is down to Bradford's energy, enthusiasm and hard work that Halifax are on the last tackle, 20 out from their own line, although Jouffre will be allowed to run forward before kicking straight down the throat of Hooley. Hooley floats the ball back in centre field to Walkinpaw. And with 5 to go to half time, it's still Halifax 8, Bradford 0. Bradford just 3 sets inside that Halifax 20-metre line. Opportunities have been limited, but here goes Meadows. Meadows is away. There's Meadows taking on the Halifax side, and James Meadows. It's a sensational, spectacular 70-metre solo score from James Meadows. The Cockney Rebel, born in Teddington, London. He took on another Cockney, Woodburn Hall. He took on Jouffre, and let me tell you, that is an eye-catching score, as eye-catching scores go. Half-time imminent, and James Meadows, his 3rd try of the season. He has just breathed life into this Bradford performance. Well, we mentioned that execution, we mentioned that fluency. Sometimes you just play what you see, And just like Zach McComb had a little glance before his kick to Inman, and then Inman's chip over the top for Jouffre to score, James Meadows has just lit up the shea. An electrifying score here. And it's underneath the post, and Hooley will make this a 2-point game, and Halifax all of a sudden look crestfallen, they look dejected, they look shocked. Magic from Meadows. He's had a few critics of late. That will answer those as Hooley from in front. We have one hell of a game on our hands this afternoon. Halifax Panthers 8, Bradford Bulls 6. Hooley from in front. And that was just magic. Meadows, he drew in Woodburn Hall. He went past Graham on the outside, and then he went back on the inside to stop Saltonstall coming for him. Jouffre, it was a last gasp ankle tap. He couldn't stop Meadows, and Woods Meadows had skipped past Jouffre. That was the last line of Halifax Panthers defensive resistance, and from 70 metres out is underneath the post. And now Bradford on the restart here. They've gone without the ball, but it has come off a Halifax hand, so it will be a zero tackle. And here goes Meadows again as Meadows floats the ball in centre field to Keys. Keys is caught on the chest there according to the officials. Still the zero tackle after it come off Ben Crooks' forearm forward towards the Bradford line. And now Bradford now just urging a little bit of calmness from Jordan Lilly, although Pelly's lost the ball, but it's a penalty because they're going to say Fairbank and McComb have rushed in and stolen the ball from the big enforcer, the Kiwi, former Cronulla Canterbury man, Franklin Pelly, on his 10th appearance for the Bulls this season. Well, the error count is slap bang, 4 errors apiece. Bradford lead the penalty count 5-3. And we've just got seconds at the end of this first half with Hooley now finding Lilly. Lilly out wide to Wonga Blake. Blake pass inside to Hooley. Hooley's brought down 10 away from the Halifax line. And that, I think, might be the hooter in the background. And that was very, very nearly a score for Bradford on the buzzer. Kyle underway here. Halifax with first use of the ball. West Yorkshire Radio, rugbyleague.com, Bulls TV. Mick the game caller Gledhill, let's have some fun. Halifax penalty from the kick-off, from the restart. Matty G just putting a little bit of pressure on the neck of Saltonstall. That will not please Brian Noble, because immediately when you want to lay a marker and set out your defensive stall, you don't really want to be conceded a penalty 10 seconds into the start of the second half. But that's exactly what Bradford have done. Their 4th penalty of the afternoon that they've conceded. Halifax 10 shy of halfway here. Bradford defending like lions. A lot of ferociousness to Bradford's defence this afternoon as Fairbank finds Woodburn Hall. Tangata 10 inside the Bradford half, and Joe Keys has forced the Cook Island International to cough possession up, and that is Joe Keys against the beast of Adam Tangata. And that's just the response Brian Noble, Lee Greenwood would have wanted after that penalty from Matty G, forcing Halifax into their first error of the second half, their 5th of this game. We've had a minute gone on the clock in the second half. Bradford's their first spell of pressure, first spell of possession is going to come off that Adam Tangata error that was brought on by Joe Keys. So 10 shy of halfway. Keys, Meadows to Ockenbaugh. 3, met that 4 Halifax players, forcing Ockenbaugh back to where the scrum was formed. Ronan Michael, the Island International, 5 shy of halfway. He's brought down just to the left of centre field as they now move the ball back down the middle channel, and the 5 metres inside the Halifax Panthers half of the field with Aribi Doro, as Franklin Pelly will make an extra 5 metres. Early doors Halifax committing twos and threes to stop the impact of Doro and Pele as Ronan Michael goes down the middle on a left edge run. Adam O'Brien does well to stop the Ireland international. They're going to kick on tackle number 4 here with Meadows. Palm back by Armitage. Bradford have recovered possession, but it has been knocked forward. That will be a play the ball, a change of possession here. I said it was kicked early, must have been the last tackle. Very late raise of the hand from Scott Michalauskas. So back underway here. Armitage just not able to control that ball from that Meadows crossfield kick. Halifax 10 away from their own line, trying to barge the way out of a hole here. O'Brien takes on Lillian Doro. Tackle free, 25 shy of halfway. Jouffre to Calcott. Calcott's run is halted. 12 metres shy of halfway. Fulton goes a little bit late there on O'Brien, but the officials say it's okay. And the Panthers, on their second spell of possession at the second half, they're on the last, and they'll go back to their own 40. Jouffre will put boot to ball, and that will be a bounce that is kind for Hooley as it goes back towards his own line, and Hooley is caught there by Tangata and Calcott on his return. So 2.5 gone at the start of this second half. Lily out of dummy half to Okinbaugh. He's been a try scorer in the last 4 games, so he's got the form book, he's got that strike as the former Canterbury Bulldogs man. Here's Wonga Blake on tackle 3, 10 shy halfway. Lily finds Fulton on a reversed angled run. He's rolled over on tackle 4 on halfway. Quick play the ball. Lily kicks early on tackle 4. Tibbs just lets that one roll past Jouffre, and here goes Ben Tibbs straight into the arms there of Okinbaugh and Blake, the 24-year-old. He's been at Halifax since 2019. Did have a loan spell at Hunslet a couple of years ago, and what a result that is for Dean Muir and Hunslet. 28-24 winners over Batley at Mount Pleasant this afternoon as Jouffre breaks clear, goes past Doro, goes on that run on that right edge, but good defensive tracking there from Hooley. Quick play the ball by the Panthers, but it's an incorrect play the ball. James Woodburn Hall, he's saying calm things down, we're going away from the game plan. So it's a second error right at the start of this second half from the Panthers, and that is going to be a scrum head and feed to Bradford. Well, we mentioned Tom Whitehead has not been on the field yet, but the 22-year-old will make his debut right at the start of this second half. Already had a loan spell at Keighley and Widnes in the last couple of seasons. He did make his Super League debut a couple of years ago in a win over Salford. Big things expected of the young 22-year-old forward. Bradford on halfway with Lily now, along the line of Pele. Pele didn't fancy taking that tackle against Fairbank and Whitehead and Calcott, so gives it to Doro. Doro felled on halfway. 6 again given to the Bradford Bulls because Doro wanted a quick play of the ball and Halifax were not allowing him to. So you're just seeing that energy, that effort, that enthusiasm. Bradford just building nicely at the start of the second half as Franklin Pele draws in the defence. Offloads the ball behind to G. G now towards Meadows. Meadows runs lateral, but he's wrapped up 30 metres out. 4 tackles left for Bradford. 5 gone at the start of this second half. Ronan Michael is going to be brought down. 25 out centre field. It's a sloppy, slow play the ball. As we said, there's a lot of defensive mongrel from both sides in this play this afternoon. Keys along the line to Fulton. Fulton will breach the Halifax 20-metre line on tackle 4. There's going to be 1 to go for Bradford. They're down by 8 points to 6. 2 points the gap as Keys finds Michael. Michael clattered there by Crooks and Douglas. So it will be the last tackle kick here from Keys. Keys looks to find Okinbaugh. Halifax have lost the ball forward. Referee Scott Michalauskas will say it's going to be a knock on, but which way is it going? The touch judge comes on. They're going to say it's a knock on against Halifax, have they? They're going to say it's a knock-on against the Bradford Bulls. Well, the officials have got that one horribly wrong there. Well, Scott Michalauskas, the Bull supporters booing and jeering. The supporters shaking their heads. The coaching staff shaking their heads. Well, that come off the Halifax man and went 10 yards forward. As it is, Halifax, a relieving decision. That would have been scrum to Bradford, 10 away from the Halifax line. As it is, they're in centre field now with Zach McComb. And he's 10 shy of halfway. On the last for the Panthers, who lead the Bulls 8-6. Tangata. Woodburn Hall hoofs it up. An ugly spiralling bomb. Hooley takes that one. And the 26-year-old is wrapped up there by Whitehead. Good defence there from the 22-year-old Warrington forward. But Bradford laying that platform down here as Bailey Lou offloads the ball to Doro. Doro to Okinbaugh. Still scoreless at the start of this second half. Who's kidding? We'll be using the strap line. We're certainly going to go the distance. You can feel it in the air. You can feel it in the Easter eggs. 5 inside the Halifax half with Wonga Blake. Lilly out of dummy half now to Fulton. Fulton takes on Whitehead. Also coming in there is Adam Tangata. And Bradford 10 inside the Halifax half of the field. It's a very, very sloppy, slow pedestrian play the ball as Keys now fires it into the arms of Meadows. They're moving over on that left hand side here with G. G's wrapped up there by O'Brien. Also Woodburn Hall involved in that one. They're on the last tackle here. Meadows targets Jouffre. The French international takes it 5 out from his line. Keys comes in and wraps up his former half-back partner last season, 5 away from his own line, and they're on tackle 2 here at Halifax because Keys, he was the only sole marker defender there, and he's having an absolute blinder this afternoon, Joe Keys. I know Meadows will rightly take the plaudits for his try-scoring effort, but he's leading the charge, and it's that controlledness, his main threat, the kicking, the passing. He has the ability to orchestrate those deceptive plays. So Halifax will kick early from deep inside their own half. It's Jouffre. 8 minutes gone at the start of the second half. That one will hold up in the in-goal area, will it? It will. Armitage now has got a bit of a job to do. He'll put the handbrake on and he'll just stay in the field of play. Well, all of a sudden, that early kick has turned Bradford around, but this will help the Bulls because Adam Tangata has gone straight out of that defensive line. He's arguing with the official, but it will be Bradford's 6th penalty of the afternoon, and it's going to be quickly taken here on the bootlace by Luke Hooley. They're not going to kick to touch. Still got a little bit of light drizzle coming down here at the Share. It's Halifax 8, Bradford 6. Keys now to Doro. Doro wrapped up 5 shy of halfway, 5 in from touch. Fulton along the line to Michael. Michael to Pelly. Bradford have an overlap. Pelly though just couldn't smuggle the ball and shift it across. Meadows is going to go straight out of dummy half down the middle of the field. He's going to be brought down there by Owen McCarron. It's on the last tackle now for Bradford. 10 inside the Halifax half. Lilly skies this one. It comes down for Saltonstall. Saltonstall back in possession for the Panthers as he deals with that Jordan Lilly stratosphere visiting kick. 10 gone at the start of the second half. Halifax 8, Bradford 6. You almost feel it just could be a try, a moment of magic, a moment of brilliance in this second half that decides this one. Halifax clinging on for dear life, you feel. Bradford once again racing out of that defensive line. They will make it to halfway with Adam Tangata, but once again they're on the last tackle, the Panthers. Kyle Eastman might just be looking to reassess and change the tactics as Jouffre once again goes long and high, targets Hooley, but Hooley, no real pressure there. He takes that from his own 20-metre line, wrapped up on his own 30, 20 shy of halfway. Bradford back in possession, centre field. Keys acting half now to Walkingball towards Meadows. Out wide on that left edge to Bailey Lou. He's up to halfway, is Bailey Lou. Third appearance of the season. Last time out for Bailey Lou. 2 tries against Hunslet in that big win at the South Leeds Stadium back in round 2. Walkingball will carry Bradford inside the Halifax half. He offloads the ball to Lilly. Lilly to Keys. Keys now to Pele. Pele takes 4 defenders out of that line. There's an opportunity here for Bradford if Pele can get a quick play of the ball. They're going short side here with Keys. Keys taking on Whitehead. Goes back on the left hand side to Doro. Doro runs a big, sharp, powerful line down the middle. But Halifax wrap up their former player, former employee, and dump him on his back on tackle 4. 30 out from the Halifax line. Keys shifts it to Meadows. Meadows goes through the gap and he's wrapped up there on the last. 5 in from the far stand side. 20 away from the Halifax line. Keys kicks towards Armitage on that left hand side. Armitage, can he get the pressure on the ball? Bradford are going to claim a try. Referee says knock on. It's first knock on against Halifax. Ben Crooks has spilt the ball and it's going to be scrum head and feet to Bradford. And listen to the noise from the 2,000 plus Bradford supporters in that north stand to our right. West Yorkshire Radio, Bulls TV, and a chance now for Bradford to have a full set of 6 on the Panthers line, forcing Halifax into their 3rd error of the second half, right at the start of the second half, and a chance for the Bulls, you feel. It's a chance for me to take a swig out of the flask of tea. 10 metres out, underneath the post, Lilly to Meadows. They're moving it on that left-hand side. 5 away, tackle 1, Bailey Lou. Meadows looks for the glory. Door slammed shut there by Charlie Graham. Armitage back to the 10 to Lilly. Lilly to Doro. You just feel the laying the platform, but all of a sudden Bradford, they're running out of tackles. Lilly goes towards Pelly on that left hand edge. 4th tackle gone. Bradford still 10 away from the post. They're in front of the post with Lilly. Lilly looking for a runner, finds Michael. Michael to Hooley, and Luke Hooley will break and breach the Halifax line. Ronan Michael, the pass, the precision, it had to be perfect. And Luke Hooley, it's his first try in his 5th appearance for the Bradford Bulls. The 2,000 plus Bull supporters behind the post, they're banging the drum. They've entered delirium land. Bradford take the lead here. We're in the 52nd minute, and what a moment in this game. The error from Ben Crooks, the Halifax Panthers captain. It has sent that large Bradford travelling support jumping for joy. And you've got to say, since his arrival from Castleford, Luke Cooley has thoroughly deserved that one. There were certainly moments in those games against Salford, against Barrow, when it just opened up for him and you thought he was going to cut through, only to be denied by Lascraft's defence. But what a pass that was from Ronan Michael. It just cut open Halifax down the heart and soul, and Hooley, 15 metres out, there was nobody stopping him, no one at home. Ronan Michael had bamboozled the Halifax defence. Hooley from in front, 2 from 2 for the homegrown Bradford man, and the scoreboard reads Halifax Panthers 8, Bradford Bulls 12. Jouffre with all Halifax points in the first half. The Panthers led 8-0. Bradford 12 unanswered points. Meadows and Hooley with the tries. West Yorkshire Radio, rugbyleague.com, Bulls TV. We might be going the distance this afternoon as Jouffre gets the restart back underway, and it will be Michael Lawrence on tackle 1. We're in the 54th minute. This is one of those games you just don't want it to end, as Doro skittles a couple of Halifax defenders out of the way. Tackle 2, they're on their own 20. Ronan Michael, tackle 3. 25 shy of halfway as he takes Tom Inman and Adam Tangata. They're moving over on that left-hand side here with former Halifax man Matty G, try scorer in that last game, that big win in the second half against Sheffield. Are we about to see another big win in the second half for the Bulls? Well, they've made it on the restart after points from Hooley to the last. They're on halfway. Keys, boot to ball. This will allow Jouffre to take this one from his own try line up to the 10. Michael Lawrence back out there on the field in place of Franklin Pellet. And as we head towards a gripping, nail-biting, thrilling final quarter, who is your money on? As we've said, Bradford, we knew the opportunities that present themselves are going to be few and far between. It's all been about taking those opportunities. Halifax 8, Bradford 12. Halifax, this is their first possession after those points from Hooley, as O'Brien gives the ball there to McCarron. The Australian, Owen McCarron, 25 appearances, 4 tries for Whitehaven last season, putting himself in the shop window. And they're on the last on halfway. So O'Brien back to Jouffre. Jouffre will target Armitage, who takes it on the full, the former Toulouse man, and is immediately whacked up there by Whitehead, Graham. Also McCarron putting that kick chase pressure on Guy Armitage. Here goes Okimbo, tackle 2. We mentioned he scored in the last 4. Well, whoever scores this afternoon, they're going to have to work overtime, because we're approaching the hour mark and we've just had 3 tries all afternoon. That's how tight and tense it is here at the Shea. Lilly now to Fulton. Fulton's on halfway for the Bradford Bulls on tackle 4. There's 1 to go. Douglas back out there on the field. Him and Whitehead, the 2 marker defenders, as Keys finds Doro. Doro, those offloaded the ball behind. Michael Lawrence will have to race back and recover possession. A little bit scatterbrained there from the Bulls as Hooley kicks down the throat there of Jouffre. And you just feel that missed time pass now. There was no real need for Doro to offload the ball. There was no one there. Let's just give Halifax a little bit of a lift, a little bit of an advantage. Adam Tangata leaves the field, and on will come Jacob Fairbank. Halifax, similar to Bradford, they've had very little ball at the Bradford end of the field in this second half. It's Halifax 8, Bradford 12, as O'Brien scampers up and over halfway, and O'Brien's caught high by Jordan Lilly. It's a penalty in front of the post, and that's that blink and you miss it moment. It's just going to put yourselves under pressure. 6-5 the penalty count. It's right in front of the post. They're down by 4. They've not had any ball in this second half in the Bradford 20-metre line. They are surely going to tap the ball 30 metres out after Jordan Lilly. Bit of a lazy arm above the shoulder blades into the face of Adam O'Brien, the former Bradford man. And that's tackle number 1 here with Douglas. They have declined the 2. Jouffre gives the ball towards Graham. To Graham, and Charlie Graham's lost the ball over the line. Well, Charlie Graham, he was in the act of scoring. And who is that? It's Aribi Doro, who's stolen the ball from Charlie Graham in the act of scoring. Aribi Doro, like the thief in the night, he's just stolen the ball and stopped an almost certain Halifax score. Unbelievable. Big moment from Aribi Doro. Bradford back in possession here with Michael Lawrence, who's just urging the side to calm things down. Well, the Halifax supporters were cheering as if Charlie Graham had got the ball down, but Doro just stole it in the act of scoring. Will you see a better piece of defence in the championship this season? Halifax back in possession after that kick from Keys on the last. They're on halfway here. Ronan Michael leaves the field. Eben Skur is back on here. James Donaldson also coming back on the field. Aribidoro earning a deserved breather. Well, that's going to put Aribidoro in man of the match territory as Jouffre now moves it on that right hand side. And Wonga Blake. Is it Wonga Blake? No, it's not. It's Guy Armitage. Guy Armitage has gone straight for Charlie Graham, and that is another error. And Halifax, they're up to 10 errors now. And Bradford defending resiliently. There's a lot of defensive solidity. Working hard, communicating, talking to one another. Charlie Graham not able to take the ball in. Scrum head and feet to Bradford, 20 metres out from their own line. It is still not a winning score. Halifax 8, Bradford 12 as we reach the hour mark here at the Shea. An unbelievable defensive play there from Aribidoro. That will almost certainly be on the highlights reel alone. Once again, that leadership and experience from Michael Lawrence, just urging Bradford to be very, very calm here. They have the lead, but they still have to work incredibly hard. There can be no letting up. They've got to work for the full 80 minutes. And here goes Eben Skur, taking 3 Halifax defenders with him. Just shy of halfway, Eben Skur brought down. Good attacking platform. 2 tackles left here after Halifax have made their 10th error. Donaldson inside the Halifax half. Caught on the shoulder. Referee ignores that one. Says it's up below the shoulder blade on tackle 4. Keys kicks early. Tackle 4. Towards touch. Turning around Jouffre. Ball stays in. Wonga Blake will wrap up Louis Jouffre. 2 metres out from his own try line. And Halifax, they're all still back upfield. And they're now having to hurry themselves back as we see a quick play of the ball there from Crooks. Saltonstall now will have to throw himself into the Bulls' defence, and that's clever play from Saltonstall, trying to win a penalty, but Bradford were alert to the shenanigans there, and now it's going to be Charlie Graham on tackle 4. Very, very clever kick there from Joe Keys. Knows the dimensions, knows the Shea implicitly, as Brandon Douglas can't get any headway because he's got Skur and Jordan Lilly around him. They're on the last tackle here, Halifax. From their own 30-metre line, it'll be Jouffre who will kick down the throat of Hooley. And as we say, we've got 18 to go here, roundabout, and it is Bradford Bulls 12, Halifax Panthers 8. 2 quality scores from the Bulls and a quality score from the Panthers. All the points this afternoon have had to have that mercurial magic sprinkled on them. Jaden Ockenball's brought down on his own 30-metre line, centre field. Early in Bradford's fresh set of 6. Donaldson wrapped up there by O'Brien, just shy of the halfway line as Lilly now finds G. G inside the Halifax half. Tackle 4 for Bradford. The 5 in from touch on that far stand side. Hooley in there and acting half to Lilly. Lilly to Lawrence. Lawrence brought down 5 to the left of centre field. On the last, they go back towards halfway with Hooley. This time Hooley tries the aerial bombardment. It's gone out on the full again. Oh, it's another error from Bradford with the boot on the last. Second time for Luke Hooley in this game, and that has just put the Bulls under immense pressure here. We've just gone past the hour mark. 16 minutes or so to go. Halifax Panthers 8, Bradford Bulls 12, and it'll be a play the ball for Halifax on halfway with Brandon Douglas. O'Brien gives it to McCarron. 3 tries this season for the Panthers. He's brought down just to the left of halfway. Now it's going to be Woodburn Hall. Takes the line on there. Matty G and Donaldson, the 2 Bradford defenders. Tom Inman has possession for Bradford, for Halifax, but Bradford alert to the danger. 2 tackles left here for the Bulls to defend. They find themselves 30 out as Tom Inman draws the defence, moves it along the line to Jouffre, who flicks it on to Graham. Graham, a very quick play the ball on tackle 4. The last will come from this, and they're knocking on the door here as Inman finds McCarron, and the 15 metres out now on the last tackle with 15 to go. Bradford lead by 4. It's going to be Jouffre, crossfield kick, targets Blake, targets Armitage, but it's going to be it's going to be Jaden Okenbaugh who does well and deals with that one. Okenbaugh had to take that ball and all, and now it's Blake straight out of dummy half, tackle 2, 10 out from his own try line. Well, the next 14 minutes, you feel, are just going to absolutely take an eternity if you are a Bradford fan. If you're a Halifax fan as well, you'll be hoping there's a little bit more time, because you're now looking at clock management along with game management in this game, as we see Guy Armitage take tackle 3, Lily straight out of dummy half, tackle 4. Bradford on their own 30-metre line as Michael Lawrence makes 10 metres and carries Bradford 10 shy of halfway. They're on the last tackle here. Lily kicks straight out of dummy half. Game management, clock management from Lily. He will turn Halifax around 20 metres out from their own try line. And as we said, Bradford in the last couple of years, they've suffered a lot of hurt from this fixture in recent seasons. But they've certainly switched on, showing that commitment, that effort, and in this second half, just one penalty conceded, that discipline. What have Halifax and Bradford got left in the tank? 14 to go. Halifax moving the ball down the middle of the field here from that scrum. O'Brien to Fairbank. Fairbank back on the inside to Calcott. Will Calcott there. He had a terrible 2024 with that early injury in the Challenge Cup. But along with Brandon Douglas, they look like players reborn here. Halifax 8, Bradford 12. They're on halfway with Fairbank. This moves it along the line to McCarron. He's rolled over, and Halifax are on the last tackle here with Owen McCarron. Back to halfway. It goes to the Jamaican international, Woodburn Hall. He targets Hooley. Hooley's got a bit of work to do, but he goes past Ben Tibbs, and Tibbs just has to come and turn around there with Whitehead to finally bring Hooley down on the own 20-metre line. So it's a quick play of the ball from Hooley, and Bradford have moved the ball in centre field with quick haste in no time to Armitage, and he will get the quick play of the ball in just outside Bradford's 20-metre line. Just one win in 5 visits here to this year, Bradford. 12 minutes to go. They lead by 4. The slimmest, the tightest of margins. This has been a championship classic. Donaldson plays the ball. Lily to Skur. Skur wrapped up on the last tackle. Keys will kick on the last, looking to find touch, but Jouffre shifted and drifted across, and now all of a sudden he'll throw the ball in centre field to Tibbs, who's wrapped up there by Blake and Fulton. Some of the Bradford supporters wanted a penalty there for a flop on Eben's skirt. Well, this is where an error, a penalty, a set restart ultimately could decide this game. Saltonstall wrapped up on his own 30-metre line. What a high-octane classic this has been. And I'm sure someone's about to write a rugby league story in the final 11 and a half minutes. Halifax 5 shy of halfway with Fairbank. O'Brien at acting half, now to Calcott, along the line to Woodburn Hall. Jouffre to Crooks, back on the inside to O'Brien. O'Brien's wrapped up 10 inside the Bradford half. They're on the last tackle, the Panthers. It'll be Jouffre. Lot of hang time on that one. Hooley against Tibbs again. Hooley comes off, surrenders in the tackle under Whitehead, Tibbs and Crooks. And now it's going to be Guy Armitage from underneath his own post after a looped pass from the touchline to centre field. And Bradford on tackle number 3. And they're going to be inside their own 20-metre line here with Matty G right over on the far stand side. 10 to go here at the Shea. 10 minutes for Bradford to hold on. 10 minutes for Bradford to get a third try and put this one to bed. You almost feel next score wins it. Those are the stakes. High stakes, high drama. Bradford on the last tackle with Lawrence. 10 shy of halfway. Keys kicks towards Saltonstall. Big rumour doing the rounds. James Saltonstall, many a fawn in Bradford's sides of the past, will potentially retire at the end of the season. He is in his testimonial year. And judging by James Saltonstall form, 9th appearance of the season, 5 tries already. He might just put those rumours to bed and go again. What can Halifax do here? Tibbs has it on halfway. Plays the ball. O'Brien. Centre field. Woodburn Hall. Inman. Jouffre to Graham. Graham's run is halted on tackle 4. There's 1 to go for the Panthers. They're 20 metres out, knocking on the door. The ball's got into touch from Lewis Jouffre. It went forward. Another error from the Panthers. Bradford ball. 20 out from their own line. An 11th error from the Panthers. They're 6th of this second half. You've got to say there's a lot of commitment and a lot of effort from Halifax. But they are lacking that cohesion. They are lacking that consistency. Well, this Bradford wall of defence, it has been unmovable. And that is going to be the real high point for Brian Noble, I think, if Bradford manage to hold on here. Under 10 minutes to go here, and Bradford back in possession with Fulton. 15 shy of halfway, tackle 2. Lily out a dummy half to Blake. Blake wrapped up there by Whitehead and Calcott, tackle 4. 10 shy of halfway, 1 to go on this set. Halifax 8, Bradford 12. Eben Skur makes 12, 13 metres forward. Was Eben Skur being held in the tackle? No, sir, the officials, as Jordan Lilly now is wrapped up on the last. 30 away from the Halifax line. Keys, high, hanging, kick. Hooley chasing this one on the inside. He wraps up Lewis Jouffre on the Halifax 10. And this now is where that defensive discipline has to be switched on. Bradford cannot concede any penalties or set restarts. They have this game in a comfortable-ish position. Never say never, but they have Halifax trapped inside their own 20 on tackle 2 as Graham gets to his feet and he'll play the ball. And they're going to come on this left-hand edge once more, which draws in 3 defenders wearing the red shirt of the Bradford side. They're on the last Halifax. Graham plays the ball. O'Brien skewed the kick. It has found touch. Just a metre or so in the Bradford half. How is the pulse? How is the pacemaker? We're going to say it. We are going the distance, as always. We always say those famous words. I've already said when I come to write the autobiography, it will be, we are going the distance. West Yorkshire Radio, rugbyleague.com, syndicated coverage, Bulls TV. We're going the distance here. Doro takes tackle 1 from the scrum. Donaldson tackle 2. Bradford, 6 minutes to go to hold on here. They lead by 12 points to 8. Now it's Meadows to Fulton. Fulton has a tilt, lifted above the horizontal. The officials will ignore it. Fulton gets to his feet. He's appealing for a penalty, nothing forthcoming. Doro's back out there, and Doro's drawn in the Halifax defence. And here goes Lilly. Lilly to Hooley. Hooley 10 metres out, underneath the post. Bradford looking to put this one to bed. It's come off the head of a Halifax player, and they've recovered possession here, the Panthers. Well, surely that was a penalty for lifting above the horizontal. It's all happening here as Woodburn Hall was quickest to react to Jaden Okinball not being able to take that ball in. A try there would have certainly eased the nerves for the Bulls. What has Kyle Eastman, what have the Panthers got left in the tank? Whatever happens here, next score wins it, and it's going to be heartbreak for either Halifax or Bradford. Douglas back out there on the field for the last 5 minutes, up to halfway. Inman now to McComb. McComb with the dancing feet. Lawrence almost in the role play as a bouncer, says you're not getting in, and drops it to the floor. Halifax 30 metres out on the last, dangerous. Woodburn Hall targets Okinbaugh, but Okinbaugh does exceptionally well, using all 45 of those NRL appearances for the Canterbury Bulldogs to deal with that tricky testing crossfield kick. 5 to go. Halifax 8, Bradford 12. Luke Cooley's try early in the second half could have won it. Oh, the pressure, the nerves. Lawrence calming things down with a strong carry down the middle as Lilly kicks early on tackle 4, but Jordan Lilly, he didn't need to do that. He's kicked it out on the full, and Halifax are gonna have a full set of 6, 30 metres out from the Bradford line. There's just minutes to go in this one. Just when you talk about that composure, Bradford have come up with a boo-boo, and it could be a costly one. Halifax 8, Bradford 12. Dying moments of this one. Douglas tackle 1. They're in the 20 with Woodburn Hall down the middle with Fairbank. Kyle Eastman animated on the touchline. Halifax know a try here, potentially steals it. It's going to be O'Brien to Inman to Jouffre to Graham. Graham goes past Lou. Can't go past Hooley too. Wrapped up 2 metres out. Tension, drama. It's Woodburn Hall. He takes it on down the middle. That's tackle 4. There's 1 to go here. The Shea holds its breath. Inman. A try in the corner for Tibbs, but he's dropped the ball. The chance has gone begging. He tried to kick the ball behind Okinbaugh and Blake, and it's gone dead. Oh, the drama. Is that the game? Well, the attendance here at the Shea, 4,987, 13 shy of 5,000. It is a new Shea Stadium record for a championship fixture. 4,987, and there's still going to be a couple of sets of 6 here for Bradford to absorb. They're on their own 40 metre line here with Matty G. 5 shy of halfway. Left to centre field. Well, I think everybody, when the hooter goes, they want to stand up and applaud each other. They've delivered an absolute classic. A classic for the ages here. Tackle 4. Jordan gets to his feet. Meadows out a dummy half to Keys. Keys to Lawrence. And it will be that Luke Cooley try, you feel. That will be the difference between these two sides. As Donaldson goes down the middle here. Bradford have been given a set restart in and amongst all the mess because they're on the last tackle now with just seconds left. Keys on that last tackle takes the tackle. We reckon there's 60 seconds to go, but let me tell you, Ben Tibbs, he had Blake exposed. He had Okinbaugh on the inside. He decided to go the brave way on the outside, and rather than lose possession and go into touch, he put boot to ball, and it just ran dead in goal, inches away from a Halifax equalising score. But here at Halifax have thrown the ball into touch on halfway, and that's the moment. That is the moment the Bradford Bulls are going to come here to the Shea, and they're going to end Halifax Panthers' unbeaten start to the season. It has been one hell of a game. The action, the rivalry, the passion. This one has delivered on all fronts. A near 5,000 crowd. Ben Tibbs, that opportunity at the end. That chance to win it. He kicked It went into the in-goal area. He couldn't ground the ball. What an absolute humdinger here. A high quality game of